everyone, I'm Riley and today we're going to be talking about We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. Now, there's nothing I can really say about the book without like overly spoiling it. But if you have not read this book, I suggest you leave and get it because it's good, and then come back and then you can hear all of my opinions and stuff. If you want to get like a little brief synopsis of the plot, then you can stay here, but I don't suggest doing that. A little piece of plot that I can give you. So our main character is Cadence Sinclair, and the Sinclair family, they're kind of like this rich, wealthy family who has like an image and they want to look good to the public and everything. And every summer they go to this private island that Cadence's grandfather owns, and then Cadence sees her cousins Johnny, Gat, and Marion there, and they have like younger siblings, but she mainly hangs out with them. So yeah, that's not... I can read you the back. We are Sinclairs. No one is needy, no one is wrong. We live, at least in the summertime, on a private island off the coast of Massachusetts. Perhaps that is all you need to know, except that some of us are liars. So yes, you should get this book because it's really good, and so yeah, if you haven't read this book, then you have to leave now because like, I don't want to spoil this for you. So au revoir! So if you're still here, you probably read this book. So for all of my book talks that I do, I always take notes about them. So here's my We Were Liars notes. They were really long. I had a lot to think about. So my notes are kind of all over the place, so I'll be jumping from here to there and everywhere for this book talk. So just, yeah, be ready for that. Okay, so one thing, in the beginning, I was really confused. They introduced so many characters at once, and there wasn't really like, so this is blah blah blah. So I was like reading, and then I had to keep flipping back to this family tree to see like who everyone was, and like, oh, this is her aunt, this is her cousin. It was really confusing for me. I don't know if that happened to anyone else, but for me it did. So one thing that like totally messed me up, which I was like, what? I read it like 3 times, and like 5 minutes later you find out. It's like, but it was, then he pulled out a handgun and shot me in the chest. I was standing on the lawn and I fell. The bullet hole opened wide and my heart rolled out of my ribcage and down into the flower bed. Blood gushed rhythmically from my wither, and then I opened my eyes. Then from my eyes, my ears, my mouth, it tasted like salted failure, and I was like, what? But then luckily we find out like a few minutes later it's only her figurative speech because she likes fairy tales and all of that. Because like, you also, I thought this, the fairy tales were like relating to events in her life, like it was like, the king had 3 beautiful daughters or whatnot, and you find that, oh, okay, so the king is her grandpa, 3 beautiful daughters are her aunts, and like something would happen. So, I mean, I think that was cool that she liked fairy tales and she like kind of related it back to her life. But then, that was thrown in there along with the flashbacks, and I was like, wait, are we her present flashback? And I kind of flip back a few pages, like, oh, okay, we're here now. And that also, this messed me up too. Okay, here's part of my notes that starts like skipping all around everywhere. Okay, get ready. So when Caddy took a trip to Europe, I was like, oh, her dad's paying for that, that's so nice. But then I felt bad because like her head injury, she's like, I was on the toilet seat and I looked at the base of a blue toilet. And Johnny's like, toilets are blue. But then like everyone else feels sorry for her. But then we later find out that, well, because of Gat, he's like, and Harris paid for your trip to Europe and he would never do that for anyone else. And then I was like, what? I was really surprised that Granddad paid for her trip to Europe. I mean, like, at the same time I was like, I wasn't like expecting her dad to do this, but I was like, oh, he's trying to be nice, he's trying to make it up for her because like he's far away from her now. But then we find out that's not the case. Oh, and then this part really stressed me out. So when they went to this one like rock cliff thing and they're like, no, Caddy, you should stay here. Then she's like, no, I'm coming with you. And they jumped off the rock. I was like, oh my gosh, someone's gonna die, something's gonna happen. I was like, so stressed out at that point. But luckily we find out that no one actually does die. And I was like, oh, this is... All the times Cadence is like, do what you're afraid to do. And then Marion's like, that's a stupid motto. And like, I guess it kind of depends, like, what you're afraid to do. Like, oh, if you're afraid to, like, talk to this person at a party, then do it. Put yourself out there. Be social. Be, like, a little social butterfly. Yeah. But then, like, jumping off of rocks, burning the house, like, no. That's not what we're talking about. Just, there's limits here. And I honestly still cannot believe that they burned down that house. Like, I get that they had good reason to, because it was starting to become a symbol of, like, wealth and power, and all the aunts were fighting over it. Who gets it when Granddad died? And they were using their kids as, like, tools to, like, go for it. Ask Granddad, you want the tablecloth? But I don't want the tablecloth. Well, I do, so... And they were just competing with each other, and it was... I mean, they did have good reason to burn down the house, but... And then when I wrote that note, well, I can't believe they burned down the house, and I didn't know that they died. I know that the dogs died because Caddy's like, Cat, we burned the dogs! And then he was like, I guess we did kill them. And I was like, that hit me hard. I have a little pupperdoodle, and it's her birthday today. She's 6. Yeah, that made me cry. I was like, fuck the dogs. Especially not the golden retrievers. Like, no. I really do love E. Lockhart's style of writing because, so she kind of introduces everything like really slowly, so you'll have like this piece of information, then she'll give you time to like forget about it. But then later everything will kind of like click, and then your mind is blown. So that happened to me on several occasions. But yeah, she kind of, everything is like hazy, so like you see it, but like it's not really clear yet. You're just kind of like finding your way, groping through the mystical fog and into the story. So Tipper she wasn't really around for that long because she like died and stuff. But I guess when they were, we didn't really get to know Tipper. So I mean, she was just kind of like this being that was like nice, and she liked to donate to charity, and then she's like gone, like the dog said. Oh my gosh, that's really sad. Anyway, Granddad was a little like kind of racist and power hungry, and it wasn't a good combination. I remember he made a threat to Johnny because he's like, Johnny, I want you to go in between your mom and that man's love life, because the man, I guess he wasn't like white, and Granddad didn't like that. So it's like, Johnny, you're gonna interfere and kill that love. Johnny's like, I'm not doing that. No. And then Granddad's like, well, if you don't do it, I'm gonna empty all of your college fund money, so you better do it. Whoa, chillax. And then Bess wants Marion to like beg for the estate, but then Marion's like, no, I'm not doing that. And Bess is like, fine, your allowance is taken away, your phone's taken away, and your laptop's taken away. So there. I was like, okay. And even Cadence's mom, she's a little like, I mean, she's like just a little like hard on that. And Bess, I feel like she's always competing for something. She's like, I was there for Dad when none of you guys were, so I get everything. And Penny's like, no, Cadence is the oldest. She's entitled to everything. So chill. So then they were like fighting over everything, and they're like, Marion, you have to beg for this heirloom. Cadence, you're gonna beg for the same heirloom. What am I saying? And it was just like, it wasn't good. And Cadence's like, I'm not doing that for a stupid heirloom. And then Penny's like, fine, then you're gonna fly off of this island to Colorado this whole summer, so you will never get to see your precious friends or your boyfriend again. I was like, whoa. Even though even though Cadence and Gat, like, even though they're forbidden love, it's really sweet and stuff, but like, there's also things that was like, whatever happened to Raquel? Like, and there's just like some unseen little things that I'm just like, But I do like their relationship, even though it's kind of like Romeo and Juliet-ish. Which, okay, let's be real, it is. It's one of the best. So then the liars are like, we're gonna take action. So they get all of the ivory, which Cadence was actually arguing. And she's like, Granddad, this is illegal. And he's like, never take no for an answer. So then they get all the ivory when like everyone's off the island, I think. Yeah, this is the time where they like all fought and then they went off to the... Anyway, so they're getting all the island, which I was like, I really liked that, even though, okay, I would never destroy something in my family, but like they had good reason to. My family isn't crazy. Okay, so when it was like Granddad remembered that day, 3 of his like grandchildren were gone, and I was like, wait. The title kept throwing me off. I was like, that didn't actually happen. Maybe it's just one of Katie's metaphors again. And I was like, why are they liars? We never really find out why they called themselves liars. I was like, is this their initials somehow? S stands for Sinclair. L stands for, I don't know, Liberty. And it's just, I don't know. So we never really find out why liars is like their chosen name for their group. Back to the Sinclairs. When Cadence had her headaches and stuff, her mom was like, you're okay. Don't acknowledge your feelings, you'll be okay. We need to provide like a public image to the public that we're rich and better than everyone else. I was like, that's not really how you do things. So chill. And that just kind of bothered me. Like, they didn't really see what was there in front of them. They were just like, money, money, money. Their kids had to burn down a house to like open up their eyes to see like, oh, we've been horrible this whole time. Like, that's not the kind of wake-up call you want. Now we're gonna talk about the ending of this thing. Like, I'm not over the ending. It's been 2 days, and I'm not over it. No. I'm still dead inside because of what happened. Like, I didn't actually realize, because I didn't, like, I was like, oh my gosh, this character's so adorable, I need to protect them at all costs. Like, I didn't feel like that. And the Moral Instruments back here, and like some of the other series, like The Selection, I felt like that. Like, the characters are just so adorable. This one I was like, I do like the characters, but they're not just But then after they like died, then I was like, oh, I actually do care for you guys. I think Cadence actually wrote this book because she incorporated the liars in like present day things. Like, they were actually there, so of course you're gonna believe that they're actually there because you didn't know they were dead. Finding out that they were ghosts, her imagination, some people thought she was calculating, she was like actually crazy. I think that they're her imagination and she like worked them into her life story basically. And it was just, like, I've never read a book like so unique as this one. This one would just blow me away. And what was I just talking about? The whole burning down the house plan. I get that they were drunk and they're like 15 and everything, but okay, first of all, if you're gonna spread gasoline all over the house, great. Have maybe like each of you go on a floor and spread gasoline, but then wait till all of you are outside and then just like throw a match on it or something. I don't know. But the fact that they didn't even have like a signal, like, okay, I'm gonna light the blazes out, like, why wouldn't they just get everyone out? Like, I guess they were drunk and their mind wasn't working, but like, it's still fire, you're gonna die and it burns you, just And then this thing, look, a fire, it's so casual too, like, you're like, oh, maybe this is like part of her accident, maybe, I don't know. But no, it wasn't just her accident, it was like an accident with other people, like, oh, that just annoyed me how they didn't. If you're gonna burn down a house, then do it right, please. Just, oh, they didn't all have to die. It was because of your stupid plan making that made it. And I actually didn't like connect these two at first, but one of the cousins was like, Kettletown's haunted. We're staying at New Claremont this summer, and I was like, oh, it's probably nothing. But then later, when you find out that like Miriam, Johnny, and Gat were all like ghosts and stuff, I was like, they lived in Kettletown. Could this somehow connect? I think it does. And that was cool, but also like at the same time you're like, oh, that's really sad. And I did have one crazy theory during this. When Miriam's like, oh, I don't feel well, I'm really sick, I was like, wait, is she's pregnant somehow? Maybe did like Drake Loggerhead get her pregnant? And she's like, huh. Because she talked about like her sexual intercourse, which actually wasn't, that didn't even happen. So I was like, does that, but then you find out that she's like a ghost, I guess, and like, I guess being in the mortal world is hurting her or something, I don't know. You never really did find out. Some things are left unanswered, but I feel like that's also for your like imagination to figure out. But wow, this book was amazing and it blew me away, and I I can't get over it, and I will never forget this book. This ending, just everything, and now I'm making my mom read it because, let's be real, you don't want to miss this. So that is the end of my We Were Liars book talk, and I actually wrote on my hand something. Marianne said, Claremont is the symbol of everything that is wrong. So yeah, that is the end of my We Were Liars book talk, and I hope you enjoyed it. And and I hope you enjoyed it, because if you did, you can give it a thumbs up and maybe even subscribe if you're not already. So yeah, bye everyone, and I'll try to get my other upload because it has been uploading. So bye!